Now I know I said I wouldn't be uploading videos on this channel on days other than Wednesday, Friday and Sunday, but things just got real. Chris Hansen from the famous TV show To Catch a Predator basically just went across the entire country to go and knock on Onision's door. Now I don't know whether I should laugh, be serious or really what to say, because this is quite a unique situation. I don't really think these things happen too often on YouTube. I think the first thing I can do is just basically say karma. I think karma is really coming into play here, and what we're going to do in this video is basically take a look at some of the footage that's been released by Chris Hansen and leaks by other people and talk about some of the legal issues in this situation, because some people have actually had a little bit of a problem with Chris Hansen's methods in this Onision investigation. Now, the main issue some people are having with Chris Hansen is basically just him going to Gregory's house and doing it all in person, but I do just have to counter that with, is it really that big of a crime to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, do you touch kids? Is that really that bad? He's just asking a question at the end of the day. So this whole situation blew up a few days ago when a leaked source released a video of Chris Hansen outside Onision's house. So I think we should just take a look at this glorious and pixelated video.
Been on his trail for the last day or so. He knows we want to talk to him. I knocked on the door. I heard his voice. I heard Kai. They called the sheriff's department. The deputies now responded. They're talking to him now. We have another sheriff's department car showing up here. We explained what we were doing. They didn't seem to have a problem with it, except there was a complaint, so they're taking the report now. Confirmed to when there. The sheriff did tell us that there was a mail call indicating Greg was in there, and I'm pretty sure I heard Greg's voice.
So Chris, as he does in all of his investigations, went to Gregory's house. He went to most likely question him. And what did Onision do in this situation? What was his correct response here? He called 911.
Ironic.
I don't really think this is too far. Chris is a journalist, and I think journalists have shady tactics, but when you look at the information provided about Gregory, when you look at some of the things which have been proven, I think we can at least admit that Onision is a horrible, horrible person, and also journalists do have shady techniques like, you know, ambush techniques, and this is what it is. This is, it sounds a bit harsh, but this is an ambush, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. Greg could have just opened the door and said,
Hey, can you please leave my property?
and if he didn't leave, then I think maybe calling the police would have been okay, but as far as I know from footage I'm about to show you, he didn't do any of that. In fact, he lied to the police.
911, what are you reporting?
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online, and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
Okay. But no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like
Okay.
6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door.
And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said has been stalking you?
Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling things at me through the door right now.
Now, it's mad to me that this situation has blown up to the point of Onision calling the police on people, him being investigated by the FBI, and him being investigated by Chris Hansen, but he still hasn't learned, and he's still lying. There's a clear video. I don't understand what he was thinking. Did you think that Chris Hansen wouldn't have a camera crew there to prove that you're lying? I mean, I think it does show that this guy doesn't have any brain cells whatsoever. I know a few people have come out and said that this is Onision's private place. You can't go here. Wrong. This is public land. It's next to a public road. You're allowed to knock on somebody's door to get their attention or get them to come out and speak to them. It's not Onision's private swamp, which pretty much sounds like the YouTube version of Jeffrey Epstein's Island. None of that is the case. He just knocked on the door. There was no shouting. There was no, you're a nonce. There was none of that. There was none of that. Maybe there should have been, but there wasn't any of that, allegedly. And yeah, when you take away context from this video, I can understand that a few people may see this clip as a little bit uncomfortable, but I just have to say, isn't that
Ironic.
Isn't that irony to the finest level, that the guy who has pushed so many boundaries and made so many people feel uncomfortable to the point of crying and losing their minds, that he is now feeling a little bit uncomfortable. The guy that has accused so many people of false things is now getting repercussions for saying things like this.
PewDiePie shocks the world with controversial tweets, and this right here is when I completely lost faith in PewDiePie. And I'm not trying to say, PewDiePie is a terrible guy or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that even if you're joking, this sounds real. It's one thing to like just say, some people are creeps and blah, 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 but another to say, that everyone has their tricks.
See, honestly, I don't understand how people can see clips like that of where he's blatantly falsely accusing people of terrible things, can then go and say, well,
we can't press him in real life.
But it's fine to press him on the internet, guys, but asking questions in real life, that's completely overboard. No, when you take a look at the context and the history of this terrible person, I feel like the repercussions are necessary. They are necessary. It's still not coming out. You get the point, though. And is Chris Hansen a perfect investigator? Is he a perfect human being? No. Shockingly enough, like most people, Chris Hansen isn't a perfect human being. An example of that is a video uploaded by Mr. GG, who made a perfectly critical video about Chris. But I've got to say, this doesn't take away from his investigation in my eyes. I feel like Chris is doing a good job here. Yes, to some people, it may be a little bit far, but he's just an investigating journalist. And people say, oh, but the FBI are investigating him. Surely everyone should just be quiet until that's over. I don't think when there's a police investigation ongoing, the media just stop talking. No, they still dig and they still try and find things. I don't really think that just because an investigation is happening, people should stop talking. But to be honest, I feel like we need to give some praise to Chris for going anywhere near this guy. Personally, I wouldn't want to be in a 600-mile radius of him for my own safety and because there might be a slight stench. And I don't think it's the swamp. You see, this guy has made plenty of videos on me in the past, and at this point, I am slightly terrified of him. I'm slightly terrified that he may turn up at the end of my bed at 3 AM. If you want me to take a look at some of the videos he's made on me, 25,000 likes, and I'll take a look at him, and there's quite a few. This guy is almost obsessed with him, as I am with him. Yeah, did I just admit to being obsessed with Onision? Shut up. I do just have to say though, I am not justifying doxing people and showing up to people's houses in any other situation. I feel like with Onision, this is a completely different situation, and Chris Hansen is a professional investigator and journalist. With things such as YouTube drama, I would usually be completely against this. I don't feel like you should turn up to anyone's house if it's based on little petty drama, but with an FBI investigation ongoing, I feel like in any other situations, journalists would turn up to press people and ask questions. I think that is a fairly normal thing, but this is a rare case and should not happen usually. I just had to give a disclaimer there, because if you're going to turn up to somebody's doorstep because they said a mean thing about you on the internet, that's not justified. Don't be a moron. And whilst doing the research for this video, I had actually discovered that Craig has actually blocked me on Twitter, and all I have to say is thank fuck for that, because I don't have to see any of them terrible tweets anymore. Those awful tweets. I mean, I can understand why you're going to end up in jail, Greg, because of them tweets alone. Put away all the investigations to do with nonsensery. Them tweets are enough. What are these things, man? Just stop them. Just stop. Please. And then weirdly enough, after being blocked, I discovered that this guy has now accepted my follow request on Instagram, and it's just as bad. It clearly shows that the guy isn't exactly in a good place at the moment. I mean, he's been reduced to posting adult-only videos to his private account. I mean, we've heard of the horrors of the Jeffrey Epstein Island, but God only knows the true horrors of this private Instagram account. I dread to think what is on here. And it is clear to me that Chris Hansen's investigation is getting to Gregory, especially with some of the videos he's been posting on his actual Onision channel, because ironically, he's making videos pretending to be R. Kelly.
Life really is rainbows and sunshine. When I was alive, things really weren't that bad. I entertained millions of people around the world, and everyone was so happy and beautiful.
Man, you shut your mouth with that talk. My life is over.
There's so much fucking wrong with this man. I'm not even confused at this point. I'm just disturbed. I mean, it's just the fact that I didn't really think his breakdown videos could get any more terrifying, but now he's been reduced to making 3D versions of himself to make videos with.
You just want my body.
Yeah.
You want it so bad.
Give it to me.
Yeah, because if real life Onision isn't enough, well, guess what, people? We've got a 3D animated alleged predator just for the gaming world.
Come closer to me, you dirty boy.
If somehow the FBI investigation comes back and this guy doesn't go to prison and he gets off scot-free, I still think we should throw him in jail just for these videos, because I have absolutely no idea how he made them or why he made them. I'm not sure what's the most important question out of the two.
You want me so bad.
But going back to the Chris Hansen thing, he did post a video on Twitter the other day saying that some things are going to come out in the next few days.
Been a busy week. I traveled across the country to try to talk to Gregory Jackson Onision. Knocked on his door. Did he talk to me? No. Greg called 911. Still, I learned an awful lot in my investigation as to what's been going on inside that house. You'll find out more in the days to come. I'm going to give it to you all. Stay tuned. This is something you must see here on social media.
Now, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea what these details are going to be, but to give my personal take on this whole thing, I've got no trust in the justice system whatsoever. Yes, in a lot of occasions, justice does get served, but there are also so many occasions where justice doesn't get served, in my personal opinion. And for some reason, I do just have the dreaded thought and belief that nothing is going to come from this. And that may be annoying to some people, but I just have such a lack of faith in the American justice system. Hopefully I'm wrong. Like, genuinely, hopefully I am so wrong, and maybe I'm just a pessimistic asshole. But yeah, that's just my personal take on it. I really hope I'm wrong, though. There is a lot of information and a lot of facts there, but the sad thing is, money does talk in America for some weird, messed up reason. But then again, I don't really think Gregory has any money. So you never know what's going to happen, really. Now, despite my lack of faith, I do think it's a little bit obvious that something is going on in the investigation, because when you take a look at his Twitter, he is posting way less than he was 2 months ago, and also when you take a look at his YouTube channel, he's also posting less than he was a few months ago. This may just be a coincidence, but I do think that in investigations, you are told to post less on social media so you don't damage your case, and I really do think that is what is going on in this situation. But I do just have to ask, even if so, he is still posting weird tweets every now and again, and I don't know why. Why? You're under investigation from the FBI. This doesn't help you. It only makes it worse. Now, if there's one thing that I think will make you smile in this whole situation is, just think for a second. Gregory had to ring the police and say, "Help, Chris Hansen is at my door." And at that moment of time, the police officer was probably thinking to themselves, isn't that the guy that, you know, turns up on the doorsteps of alleged predators? It must have been such a strange phone call for the poor bastard that was picking up for Onision. I mean, I feel bad for them. They should just throw him in jail for wasting police time, in my personal opinion. And now we are at the ending of this video, so I'm just going to play a clip of where Gregory said he was mounted by his dog.
We would get under a blanket and the dog would mount us. And it was by a creek that we lived at. We would go outside to put a blanket, and when everyone else left, my pants had slipped down.
What? I mean, it just gets worse. It just gets worse.
Pants had slipped down. And I found my dog was still playing the game where he would mount us under the blankets and aggressively do that. And before I knew it, he was slipped inside of me.
He was fucked by his dog. And I'm not even shocked. I'm not. I'm not even surprised. I should feel shock right now. I just feel empathy for the dog because he's most likely got an STD now. But that is the ending of the video. Thank you so much for coming along. In conclusion to the Chris Hansen thing, I really hope justice gets served. I may have been a little bit controversial for what I said about him turning up to the house. I feel like he's a journalist. I feel like he handled it pretty well. He didn't shout. He didn't scream. He went home when Onision didn't answer the door, but Onision called the police. That is the ending of today's video. Please get this video to 25,000 likes, and I will take a look at the videos Onision has made about me in the past. Please go follow my social medias at iNabber69 on Twitter and iNabber on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you probably tomorrow. Peace out, people. Have a good one.